Hi everybody, welcome to Mom's Zen Room. I am not in my Zen room today since it's New Year's Eve. I decided not to go to my studio and I am in my house. This is actually the chinchilla room, so you may meet my chinchilla Remy if he decides to climb up on me during this, so bear with me. First of all, I just want to tell everybody have a wonderful, wonderful New Year. It is, I think it's about 8 o'clock here in Alaska. So we have a couple hours left before we ring in the new year. Lots of parts of the world are already in 2024. So I wanted to do a little bit of talking about goal setting. A lot of times we kind of get stuck in that New Year's resolution where we have these huge, gigantic goals that maybe seem kind of unattainable, and then we give up a couple weeks into January. We decide we're going to go to the gym every day, and we only go once or twice in the first couple of weeks, and so we give up. So I want to do a little bit of goal setting with you guys to make goals that are not only realistic, but that they're framed in such a way that they really mean something to you. And I learned how to do this technique just this year. It's pretty cool. It was discovered or created, I guess, by a man named Michael Losier. Michael Losier. He wrote a book called The Law of Attraction. And I have not read the book, I will be honest, but I've watched a lot of his YouTube videos, and they're very interesting. He's got a very matter-of-fact way of speaking, but it's very informative. So again, his name is Michael Losier, Losier. And the technique that I'm going to talk about today is called clarity through contrast. And what this is it helps to identify what you want, your goals, by first identifying what you don't want. So I'll give you an example. I did one for my business. I don't want flaky clients. I don't want big gaps in my schedule. I don't want inconsistent income. I don't want unhappy clients. I don't want clients who cross my boundaries. I don't want to bring laundry home. It's a big one. I don't want to adjust my table manually. I don't want clients who always want a deal. And I don't want an empty schedule. Now, after you've identified the things you don't want, you take a look at those, and for each one that you write down, and this could be for finances, it could be for relationships, it could be for work, health and fitness, any personal goals that you have, limiting beliefs. I don't want to be hard on myself. For example, I don't want to be scared of failure or success for that matter. So then what you do, though, is you take these you don't want statements and then you turn them into what you do want. So I don't want flaky clients becomes I want clients who show up at their scheduled time. I don't want big gaps in my schedule turns into I want a consistent schedule with minimal gaps. And on and on and on. I want a full schedule and a consistent income. I want happy clients who love my services. I want clients who respect my professional boundaries. I want a hydraulic table. I want clients who are happy to pay my rates. I want a full schedule. So you can see, and I just have it on a piece of scratch paper like this. What you can do then is you fold this piece of paper in half, and then you focus on your I want statements. And you can take this one step further into, some people will call it manifesting, but putting this into talking about it like it's already happened. Because when we put it out there, when we talk about it, our brains start processing it like it has happened. So our brains start figuring out how to make that happen. So I have clients who show up at their scheduled time. I have a consistent schedule with minimal gaps. I have a full schedule and consistent income. I have happy clients who love my services. I have clients who respect my professional boundaries. I have a laundry facility at my studio. That's a big one. I have a hydraulic table. That's another big one. I have clients who are happy to pay my rates. And I have a fully booked schedule. And those I haven't written down, but you can see where I'm going with this, where it really helps to identify what we do want by taking what we know we don't want and turning it into a positive, and then taking what we do want and turning it into, it's already happened. I already have achieved it. And I think you're going to find it's a really powerful tool to use. It doesn't have to be spectacular. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't even have to be big goals. These can be really small things like, I don't want to be tired in the morning. So maybe you have to say, I want to go to bed at 10 p.m. every night, and then you say, I go to bed regularly at 10 p.m. every night, and work your way back into actually accomplishing that goal. So that's a little bit of what I wanted to talk about with goal setting. I did one for relationships too, because I'll be real honest with you. I have kind of I'm in a very complicated relationship that I know will become less complicated, whether that means I leave it or whether that means I change it. So anyway, that's for another time. But there is one more thing I wanted to say. I think my light burnt out on me. Oh, well. All my good stuff is at my studio, so thank you and now there's fireworks going off outside too, so yay! I'm so professional. But one more thing that I really want to talk about super quick. A lot of times we focus so much on the negatives, and this type of goal setting, yes, it identifies the negatives, but what it is really trying to do is force us to put everything in the positive. We don't want to focus on what we don't want. We want to focus on what we want. And if you can take that negative thought of something you don't like, something you don't want, and turn it into a positive, you're going to find that your subconscious brain, which is about 90% of your brain capacity, is stuff going on behind the scenes, stuff that you don't just think about. It's gonna change. It's going to kind of reprogram your thinking. It's going to reprogram how you talk to yourself. This exercise is a great way to help you deal with limiting beliefs. I know a lot of us have beliefs that we're not good enough, we're not smart enough, we're not, the best at what in our field, or whatever the case may be. And I'm a good example of this. This is my third YouTube video. I started it on a whim. I'm sitting on the floor surrounded by chinchilla poop. So I'm doing it. It might not be great, but I'm doing it and getting it out there. I've left that limiting belief that I can't do it, because I can do it. And now I've told myself I am doing it. And it is going to keep getting better and better. And hopefully people will actually watch and maybe even get something out of it. But I don't know, the end of a year and start of a new year it's really emotional to me. I have a lot of mixed feelings going into it. 2023 was a very difficult year for me personally. Financially, it was pretty tough, and building my business has been challenging. Now, I know next year is going to be, I have a lot of experience now through this last year. So a lot of things are going to be different this next year, and they're going to be better. But I honor the fact that 2023 was challenging. There were challenges that I never thought I would have to go through. There were things that scared me to death. There were things that made me more sad than I've ever been. And there were things that, my children went through hard things, which means I went through hard things. So I had a wonderful Zoom call this morning with some colleagues of mine. And one of the things we did was we put a stamp on 2023 and said it's complete. And now we're going into 2024 with a clean slate, ready to create, dream big, reach for the stars. You don't have to make sure your goals are attainable. If you've made $50,000 this year at your job and you're self-employed, you don't maybe want to say next year I'm going to make $1 million. That might be an overstretch. But if you say something more manageable, like my goal is to make $75,000 in 2024. And that is actually my goal. I am going to gross $75,000 or more in 2024. And so I put that in writing and then I plan for it. So that's at the top of my list. Okay, so on December 31st, 2024, I'm going to have $75,000 at the bottom of my income tally. Well, what do I need to do to get there? So we work backwards then. How much do I need to make in December? And how much do I need to make the month before that? And we can go in quarters, we can go in months. But really it gets you thinking backwards from your goal instead of starting from zero and working up. To look at it from, I've already achieved this, and then, oh, well, what steps do I need to do to make that happen? It's just a wonderful way of looking at goal setting that can be much more positive and encouraging. And my chinchilla just is trying to crawl up a wall, and it's kind of funny. Remy, what are you doing? I wish you'd just come over here and climb on my shoulder because you're so cute. Anyway, so it's just one way of helping you set goals that you know it's attainable. It might be really hard to get there. It might be really hard. And you know what? If you make that your goal and December 31st rolls around and you've made $62,000, so you didn't accomplish this goal, but you know what? You set the bar high. You set it higher than you had this year, and you accomplished more than you did this year. And yeah, life doesn't always work out the way we plan, but how else can you improve what you want? How else can you reach higher if you don't have that goal set? So I encourage you to really think about some SMART goals for the new year. SMART goals meaning that they are realistic and attainable, and write them down and really dig into working your way backwards from the end of the year or whatever time frame you have for them. Maybe you want to run a marathon in the summer. So if you decide that, May 20th, you're going to run whatever marathon is in your city, then not Anchorage, because we have them later in the year because it's still winter in May sometimes. But you work your way back then. How many miles are you going to need to run every day? Like the week before or the 2 weeks before or the month before. And then you work your way back and you figure out your training plan then, starting from your goal and going backwards. So I thank you guys. And if you do that already, and this is just, I'm just blowing hot air, then that's okay too. But if you've never looked at it that way, then I think this is a really good opportunity to kind of challenge yourself into thinking a little outside the comfort zone, thinking a little outside of the box, and challenging yourself to really, set your sights high. You are so capable of success. We sell ourselves short all the time. And I have the luxury now of being 51 years old, and it's taken me a long time to feel confident and to feel worthy and to feel like, oh, I can do this. Uh, but a lot of what it was just my negative self-talk or my own limiting beliefs that were getting in the way. And I am taking the actions to change that. And I know that you guys can do it too. You can truly create your future. It's all it, what you write down on paper, it's not ever going to be that simple. But what you can find out about yourself and the ways that you grow and learn, it's remarkable. The accomplishments that you can see happening and really take pride in and be happy about, because when we are in challenging situations, that is when we grow. And when we grow and we learn, we're getting better and better. So I wish you a very wonderful start to 2024. Look at 2023 and the good, the bad, and the ugly, and, acknowledge it. My 2023 there were a lot of really rough things, and there were some really great things too. And I learned a lot, and I've changed a lot in the last year. And I don't take things for granted as much as I did a year ago. I can guarantee you that. So just that is what a huge accomplishment for a year. Oh, no, he's not going to come up here now. You should come up. No? Okay. I can't catch him because he freaks out and runs away. But anyway, thank you so much for listening to me ramble. I wish you a very wonderful new year, an amazing 2024. Keep talking kind to yourself and being positive, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.